Alright, and welcome. This is Mr. Business, and this is part 2. Okay, this is part 2 of the business plan. So, if you haven't seen part 1, go find part 1, because this is part 2 of the business plan. We're just following on where we left off. Okay, so this is part 2 of the business plan. Alright. Other sections they're going to want to see when you look at the business plan is going to be your marketing. That's right, we all love marketing. And the thing that's great about marketing, it literally describes what it is. It's taking a product to market, okay? You have to get your product to the people somehow. And they want to know how you're going to do that, okay? People always think of marketing as just ads. Ads is like a sliver of marketing. A very small part of marketing, to be quite honest, okay? You have to know what channels you're going to actually send your products through for people to get them. Are they going to get them in retail? Are they going to buy online? Okay, so let's go ahead and do this real quick. Okay, so with marketing, these are the things you should cover in marketing in this section. Number 1, branding. Okay, what branding are you going to use? If you look at me, what branding have I used? Well, number 1, I got my logo up here. I got my fancy top hat with my red feather. That's sort of my business logo, Mr. Business. I got that in gold. That's just the persona I'm given. That's my logo. Other than that, you can see that I got this dog that's kind of chubby and happy and likes to teach business. That's all sort of the branding. I mean, all these parts are branding. If you look at them, I try and be as consistent as possible with the branding. Every episode, you're going to see a lot of the same things. The way I do my formats are a lot of the same, such as at the end of the episodes, I always leave questions. I'm always trying to get you guys involved and sort of getting everything we need. So think about the branding, okay? Think about how that affects you. And we'll have more episodes just on branding itself. Other questions you'll need to answer here. You'll also need to do, okay, your distribution, okay? Distribution. How are you going to get this to people, okay? How are you going to get this to the people? In other words, are you looking at retail, okay? Retail is expensive. It's competitive. However, maybe you might find a way to make it useful for your business. Are you going to be online, okay? Are you going to be a reseller? Okay? I mean, there's a whole lot of different distribution methods out there. Okay? That's part of marketing. And why do we have this all in marketing? Because marketing is directly tied to, and this is actually what you can call it, you can just combine it all into one section, marketing and sales. Ultimately, the only reason we do marketing is to get sales. We get products to people so they buy them. This gets the product to them, right here. This gets it, so they actually buy the product. Okay, so branding, distribution. It's not just draw me an ad. Okay, this is the biggest problem I see most people, okay? If you look how messy this is. I keep writing this over and over. This is what it looks like when I see people only talk about ads in their marketing section. They're like, oh, we have a great idea for a commercial. That's great. This is what I actually want to know is over here. Okay? Do not just give me a commercial in your marketing and sales area. It looks bad. Now, if you can take from that commercial and simplify it into branding, that's good because we can use it across many commercials. We can use it across many advertising campaigns. All right? But also, like I said, you want to know why we're branding it that way. Not just, oh, I have this. Why? If you look at my logo up here, why are my letters in gold? Well, if I'm talking about business, people usually want to listen to people that are rich, that have prosperity. Gold does that. It looks powerful. If you look at my lettering, is my lettering weak looking? No, it's very block and steel-like looking. Okay, it's very, very finessed, like almost like gold bars. If you look at my top hat and red feather, okay, that's where it gives you more of a distinguished look. Okay, more nobility-like. Okay. You don't want someone who looks sort of crummy trying to teach you something. No, you want someone who looks like they're at the top teaching you stuff, okay? That's why my branding looks like that. Why do I have the dog as part of my branding? Why do I use him, okay? Why am I being used in here? I eat the ramen, I teach all the marketing and the business and everything. Why am I here? Because I'm relatable, okay? Oftentimes when people think about business, they run away. Or they think about it being boring and being spreadsheets and a whole lot of other junk. It's fun to have someone who's just normal teaching you, who's not super powerful, okay? Who actually wants to have fun with you, because business can be fun if taught correctly. Okay, so right here, the ads part, don't do that. Branding, yes. Ads, no. You can definitely make notes of those, put them somewhere else, but don't put them there, okay? Alright, we spent a good chunk on marketing and sales. With sales also, they want to know basically your projections. They want to know year 1, year 2, year 3, and they want to know within the months how many sales you're expecting to get and how these sales are actually happening. They want projections and where they're getting these numbers from. And we'll talk about that more in a future episode just on sales and sales projections. But that's the basic question we're looking for. All right. Next, we're going to be looking at, the financials. Okay. This is probably the most important part of the business plan. Because as an investor, as someone who's going to look at the plan and see if it's even doable, financials let me know a lot of things, okay? Number one, it needs to make this clear to me. I need to know my risk versus reward, okay? I just need to know that. I need to know my risk versus reward. Let me make this a little bit cleaner for you guys. Just put versus here. Versus reward. And when I look in the financial section, I can quickly tell what my risk versus reward is. And if I see a lot of risk and little reward, I'm not going to want to do that. That's bad investment. Good investment is little risk, lots of reward. Okay? That's what you want. So we're going to be looking at basically your startup costs in your financials. How much is it going to cost to even do day one startup? We're going to need to know your fixed costs, and we'll go over all these in upcoming episodes. Fixed costs, so we figure these out. And what a fixed cost is, it's something that you have to pay regardless. So for example, regardless of how many customers I service, I have to pay for the building I'm in. That'd be a fixed cost, okay? Variable costs, like that says, it varies, okay? It's a variable. This goes up based on the amount of people I serve. So for example, if I'm an ice cream shop, I always use the ice cream shop. I love the ice cream shop. Everybody gotta like the ice cream shop. Okay? If I serve more ice cream, are my costs going up? Yes. My costs do go up because I have to buy more ice cream. But obviously I'm going to make more money. So they want to know what the variable costs are, and they want you to split these up. Okay, see, I'm putting this big splitty line here. Split them up, and we're going to talk about how you do that more. We can look at more specifics later on in the series, but you're going to need to split up your fixed costs and your variable costs. Those need to be split. Okay? And then, the other thing I want to look at is how you're going to finance all this. So you got all these costs. Where's the funding? How are we funding this? All right, are we funding this through debt? Are we taking out loans? Are we funding this through stock? Do we have like early stock that we're going to try and sell off somehow and get people buying into this company? How are we going to fund this? All right. That's the financial section right there. All right. That's it. And we'll hopefully later on we'll show you some examples, but that's pretty much the basis of the financial. Sometimes even a dog can't talk. All right, here we go. All right, so you got your startup, fixed costs, variable cost funding. This is all in the financials. If there's any more questions on this, leave them in the comments. Remember, we'll be covering a lot more financials in future sessions. These are all the basics we're doing right now. All right. Final thing, and this is the final thing I want to see in a business plan. Okay? We call it an appendix. In other words, I want to know where you're getting your information and your numbers from, or if you have any additional information. Okay? This is where I go digging. And yes, I'm a dog in a bowl because I ate all the ramen. This is where I dig. Okay? We'll make it simple. Just dig. Alright? We're just going to go digging. And if I need to find your research and know, example, if you need things such as permits, if I want to see your resume to see what stuff you've done in business before. All those things should be in there. Okay, so this is just back information. Okay, back info. Or in other words, I'll put it this way, support info. So remember all those messy details and things like that, which you feel you have to have in your report? Support details? Guess what? We got a spot for it. It's in the appendix. And then it doesn't make everything else look muddy and messy. You put it all in the appendix. That's where you put all your support details. And then I can look back and see you didn't make it up if I need to check something. But yet, when I'm reading the actual business plan, it seems simple and clear and awesome. So that's where you put all your support details. All right, back info, that's where I'm going to go to dig. That's what the appendix is for. All right, so let's review and finish up this episode. You guys have almost made it through. You guys are doing really good. Hopefully you're retaining a lot of this information. Hopefully you guys got some good questions and comments to bring to the section. All right, comment section after this video. All right, so parts of the business plan. You start off with your executive summary. Okay, that's number one. Then you go into your organization. So we got our organization. Then you're going to go into your service/product. Okay, service/product. After that, you're going to look at the marketing and sales. All right, marketing and sales. After that, you're going to go into your financials. Okay, financials. A little money sign there. You get your financials going. Make that money sign look a little bit better. There we go. Financials. And then we have the appendix. Okay? All your support information goes. Right there, if you have all those things and you get them on paper, you got a business plan. How much should this take about? 1 page. How much should these other things take about, usually? Usually, I'd put them in a section, put them as 1 page apiece. That's it. 1 page, 1 page, 1 page. Okay, so you got one appendix. A lot. Okay, this is where all your details go. This is where all the messy stuff goes. Therefore, everything else looks what? Clean, clear, and simple. Alright, it looks good. Alright, with that said, we do have questions like we always do on the business plans. Okay? And we have a question for you. I want you guys to really comment and discuss this as a group. There's a whole lot to talk about in business plans. Remember, you don't have to always stick with the questions in the comment section. I just want you guys to get involved. The questions are there to help you start debating and start discussing business, just to help you guys out. Okay? So here's the question. Everyone ready? Alrighty, here we go. These are the questions. Number 1, what do you look for in a business plan? I talked about what I looked for. I talked about what I see. But maybe there's people out there who have experience with business plans as well. I hope there are. What do you look for? What do you see in business plans? What stands out to you? What are things that people overlook that always come to your attention in a business plan? Let us know. We got a comment section down there. All right? Number 2, how can I make my business plan look professional? I talked about a lot about what needs to be in the business plan. But what are telltale signs that someone does not know what they're doing or it doesn't look professional? Okay? Talk about those in the comments section, all right? And like I said before, in future episodes, we'll start reviewing business plans. We'll look at some good samples, some bad samples, samples that need improvement. We'll look at those in the future episodes. All right, as always, if you got 5 minutes, you got 10 minutes, you got any minutes, give me all the minutes you got, you can learn business, okay? This is Mr. Business. Everyone take care.